Hey, welcome everybody to Astronomy Daily Live. It's 2 hours UTC. It's time once again to get together and sit back, relax, sort of get about everything. Today I've been punchy all day long, so I'll definitely have to make my apologies in advance. I'm feeling a little punchy today. But yeah, it's time to chill and just sort of forget about things and sort of focus on astronomy and space and the universe and all of that instead. So yeah, things are good. And Uncle Bill, you keep me on time because yeah, the problem was this at 1:58 daily space observations. Hey, nice to see you there. Welcome. Daily space observations has a great YouTube channel. Go over, take a look. He is doing some amazing things, really cool stuff. He's into astronomy and all of that. So definitely check him out. So really glad. So yeah, just sit back, relax. We're gonna think and talk all things astronomy for a while. And the reason why I was a little bit late is because like 2 minutes before um, 2 hours at UTC, I realized that I was completely empty of the hydrogen hydroxide here, HOH. Now I've got a nice full mug, and I realized that I was completely out of coffee too. So I had to, I don't want any kind of crises right during this live stream. So things have to happen. And if I'm a little late, okay, that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing well out there. Uncle Bill, glad to have you here. Tom, I see you as well. Thanks for coming in. Chuck, hey, nice to see you. Um, and yeah, when you post some new stuff, I've got my notifications turned on, so I will be alerted to all of this. So, all right, well, come on in, everybody. This is like a virtual porch where we're just sort of sitting around, chit-chatting about all things astronomical, spacey, sciencey, nerdy things. It's just fun, right? I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm not going to communicate. I'm not here to answer any questions. What this live stream is mostly about is actually creating more questions. So, you will not find answers here. You can certainly ask me things, and I'll try to answer them, but I guarantee you I'm not going to. So, all right, well, cool. Well, on the panel, Bobby, hey, what's going on?
And I thought you're gonna be shooting throughout the stars.
She looks very upset there. So
It clouded over.
Not even any
Whoa.
not even any holes or anything.
So
Oh
mad.
my gosh! I wish I had a telescope my own self.
So Atta, guess who is in the chat? Take a look.
Uncle Bill.
Huh?
Daily space observations. Okay. Hi.
Check it out.
Hi.
Isn't that awesome?
I'm
Isn't
the
that
lady
great?
who left the message that your review convinced me to buy a Celestron telescope, a travel scope, I mean, I think you saw my message. You convinced me, your review of it convinced me to buy it. It was pretty cool,
Very
actually.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
And the
I
stuff you show that you can do with small telescopes is really amazing. I can't even do some of that stuff with the big ones I have behind me.
and that's one of the things that I talk about here a lot is you don't really need a lot to do some really amazing things.
I
So
bet.
you don't need the biggest, you don't need the best, you don't that helps, right? That helps. If you can get the biggest and the best, get it, right? But you don't need it, to do some really cool stuff. Don't need it. What you need is a little bit of this, just a little bit of this. It sort of, goes back to, the bowling ball, right? Um,
I'll
um,
never forget that.
when you're bowling, right? Um, is it, what's more important? Is it the ball or is it the bowler, right? Well, to about the 99th percentile, it's the bowler. It has nothing to
Really?
do with the ball at all. Now, if you want to get that next little tiny bit,
What?
which makes you a pro, then uh, um, the ball matters, right? But it just doesn't. All right, well, cool. Well, there's a first time for everything, right? So very cool. All
Okay,
right.
before you get off, Cosmo,
Yes.
I'm going to tell you about a super stupid thing. We've been talking about the Imager, the Revolution Imager. This is a camera for those of you who weren't here, like Daily Space. This is a camera you attach to telescopes. Pretty inexpensive, low res, but should do the job. I was interested in it because I don't have a smartphone. I just religiously avoid them. And I was interested in it because it has a little sort of LCD screen you can stick on the telescope. Now, I, of course, bought everything that goes with it. And one of the things I bought was the larger charger. This is what they're supposed to look like, the larger charger. But I didn't open this up right away. I opened up the original package. And you want to talk about stupid. So I'm looking at the charger. Notice this one looks a little different. This is the smaller charger that comes with it. Well, I saw this black plastic material all over the charger. It even partially covered the switch, the on-off switch, though you could still use it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I got figuring this plastic cover was like plastic covers of screens and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. I got the plastic cover off the battery.
Okay.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. Yes. I've seen a similar thing with some of the newer smartphones have this plastic covering right on top that if you take it off, the phone fails, right? I mean, it just fails.
Well, this didn't fail. Boy, was I lucky. What I ended up doing, I salvaged my disaster. I took this packaging tape, the stuff that sticks to everything and won't come off in 5,000 years. I wrapped the battery back up with this tape. Oh, it works fine. But this reminded me of another stupid thing that I read about many years ago. Now, some of you are going to be too young to remember floppy drives on computers. But now this really happened. You remember the original floppy drives came in kind of a little container and you pull them out and put them in the computer.
Now, you're talking about the 5.5.
Right, the 5 1/4 floppies.
5 1/4.
Well,
Yeah.
this really happened. Somebody called into support and said, "How do I use it?" And the support person says, well, you take it out of the sleeve and you insert it into the computer.
That makes
Well,
sense.
the individual said, I followed your instructions, but I don't know how you insert this thing. It's all limp and it has no body. What they did was take
Yeah.
it out of the cardboard casing.
Oh man. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, you know,
this stupidity comes very close to that.
just what I do in that case is I point to my head and I say, "Nobody home." Oh, that's sad. Yeah, pretty sad. Pretty
Whoops.
sad. All right. Well, cool.
Yeah,
Hey.
Daily Space is right here. Smartphone can be great for beginner in astrophotography. I think one of the guys on here named Ert, he's not on yet or tonight, but he has used a smartphone, I think.
Yeah. In fact, there's a whole Facebook group that's called Smartphone Astronomy. Check them out. They're extremely active. I don't really do any of the Facebook stuff, so I'm not exactly sure. But they're a very active group. So
thank you, Uncle Bill. I don't feel so bad now. Well, I fixed mine anyway. Yeah. I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, before we get started, I definitely wanted to thank all my patrons. I now have 5 patrons. Can you believe it? I've got Atta, I have Bobby, I've got Tom, I've got Chuck, and Niji joined last night. So
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely great. And that
I'm trying to cover him. Sorry.
no worries. He's trying to cover me. He's trying to cover me. Yeah. No. So that patronage goes to supporting me and my research. So it has nothing to do with this live stream at all. This live stream is for fun, right? It's for fun. There's no work involved here at all. That's a dirty word here. So it's FUN here. But to become a patron, go over to patreon.com, look for Cosmic Lettuce, and it'll be right there. You can sort of see some of the things I'm up to, doing lots of updates. Some data that I took back in 2014 is actually looking pretty good. So I'm really glad about that. So that's one thing. That's enough about that. I also wanted to alert you to my Teespring site, where I've got a little bit of artwork up. I think if you go to, let me pull it up here, because I never remember the link. There it is. Let's see, is that it? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to paste this into the chat really quick. Don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I want to talk about astronomy, right? So there's the link, and for the next hour or so, if you use the discount code ADL 710, ADL 710, you'll get 17% off any purchases over there. And I actually have a new shirt up, which I just want to show you really quick. It's actually a thing that you might recognize from a live stream that we did just the other day. I'll show you that here too. It's this thing. It's actually the Mars Insight diagram of sorts. Let's see if I can I find, yeah, so that's sort of what it looks like zoomed in a little bit. This diagram is actually taken right from the InSight data release data, and it sort of shows a diagram of where things are and all that. So, okay, well that's that. I don't want to spend any more time on that. If you're so inclined to grab one of those, grab one of them. I'll be coming out with a few of these over the next few months, so stay tuned. And that's it. All right. I wanted to start with sort of this picture here. I don't know if you all saw this or not, but this got put up on the interwebs here over the past day or so, and I saw this, I don't know, about a day ago or so, and I sort of glanced at it. I was like, oh, that's cool, taken with a 10-inch telescope. Pretty neat. They were actually taking an image of the space plane up there, the X-37B, this sort of super secret Air Force, sort of like a space shuttle thing. And nobody really knows what it's doing up there, what it's for. It's some kind of military thing, I'm sure, which doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because a lot of things that they're doing, especially in space, are really, really, really cool stuff. Like really, really neat stuff that is just like pure science, right? Really, really neat things. But I was looking at this this afternoon, their little diagram here, and I've got a lot of experience in this area in terms of being able to pick out the details and things in satellites and all that. In fact, I was doing that back in the late 80s. And the Air Force has been doing this kind of work since at least the 70s. At least the 70s. In fact, we imaged the hands of the astronauts when they were at the space shuttle, right? So, I mean, you can see things really, really, really well. Now that was with a 90-inch telescope. It was under, really, really good conditions, blah, 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 blah. This is just a 10-inch scope, and this is a really amazing image. But, this live stream is partially about skepticism, right? You really have to look at things carefully. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, well, that's where they're calling the tail. Here, I'll sort of zoom in a little bit more here. I can do that. Let's get it right in the field here. So, they're sort of saying, okay, this is the tail part, and this is the nose up here, and this is the payload bay door. And I'm looking at this, and I really, really appreciate the fact that they're showing sort of this kind of picture without any kind of diagram around it. Here's actually even the raw data, supposedly the raw data. Now, going from this to this isn't a huge leap. I can sort of see that, but to me, this looks like a satellite with solar arrays pointed out, and that's about it. It doesn't really look like that at all.
No,
Now,
I agree.
Yeah, maybe the rotation of this thing is a little bit off, so they didn't exactly get the diagram exactly right. So you've got to be skeptical, but you got to keep an open mind too. So don't close your head to any of this stuff. I'm just saying that I'm looking at this, and I don't know. I'm not quite sure. They're seeing something interesting. I don't know if they're seeing this. I don't know any of the details about how this picture was taken. They have a date, but they don't say where, or what kind of exposure time, or number of exposures, what kind of software they use to process the image. This is extremely difficult stuff. There are very, very sophisticated pieces of software to deal with this, and so I am looking at this with a pretty skeptical head, saying, well, maybe. If this thing was sort of rotated like 90 degrees, so the payload bay door was pointing up a little bit instead of out, maybe I'd be a little bit more convinced of that. But what can you really get out of a fuzzy blob? It's really, really, really hard. And is this panel actually the shape? It almost looks like it's folded, or is that something to do with seeing conditions? Is something to do with the processing of the image, messing it up? Who knows, right? So, but I thought that this was pretty good anyway. And I noticed, right down here, that they have a website. So I proceeded to type all that in, and this is where we go. So I sort of thought today we could sort of look at all of this, because this is sort of, in terms of photography, for those of you, who like to do that kind of stuff, this is at least one of the next levels, is getting into, these moving object things, satellites, rocket bodies, those kinds of things.
They're hard to photograph, aren't they? Because they are moving so fast.
Well, there are ways to deal with that. You just have to be able to track them, right? I mean, it's just like tracking the stars.
Well,
except the motions are different and the speeds are different. So it's really not all that hard, as long as you know where and when to point. So and that doesn't make it easy at all. The point is that these kinds of things can be done and are being done really, really, really well. So that's sort of where I wanted to go with this today. Is this fellow Ralph Vandenberg? He's got just a bunch of pictures here. My only gripe so far is that it doesn't really look like he talks about how these images are taken, how they're processed. So I'm not exactly sure, but let's sort of go through this. And if nothing else, the pictures are fabulous, right? This is the space station. Slightly different perspectives. Depending on where you look at it in the sky, it's going to appear differently. And that perspective is always changing. So that's one of the challenges in trying to photograph these kinds of things, is that they are getting larger and larger and larger as they approach you, and then they're getting smaller while they move away. So that that's a challenge. You know, the size of this thing is going to change over, you know, during like a 5-minute pass. You know, the size is going to change. The orientation is going to change. It's hard. It's hard. So, but these are just fabulous. You know, they're showing, you know, the panels here. They're showing you the radiators. Sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out. You know, I don't know if this is the space station or not. It's hard to tell. This one definitely is. I think I can say definitely. But
What's up, Astro Live Channel?
hey there, Astro Live Channel. Nice to see you back in the chat.
So what we're looking at is today's topic, right?
Yeah. You know, I just sort of thought that since this thing sort of popped up on my radar, that we just look at this person's site and, you know, just do some viewing of some really cool satellites and rocket bodies, and you'll sort of see how challenging it is. Now, the only information that I have is that this is through a 10-inch scope. So I'm hoping that somewhere in here he talks a little bit more about how he is doing it. But, you know, I'm not seeing any real info about that at all. So, but let's just sort of go through this and see what happens.
Uncle Bill said he knows a guy. He subscribes to a guy that writes his own code for tracking satellites.
Yeah. I think it's actually somebody that I subscribe to also, and I don't remember what the name of his YouTube channel is. It's something like Astro Live. It's something really similar, you know, to the Astro Live channel. Something like that. Everybody grab, you know, those couple of words and sort of, you know, use them in different ways.
Astro got some pictures of the space station. Wow, that must have been tough.
Okay, here it is. So
there he is.
Yep, 10-inch scope. Let's see. There's sort of a picture, I suppose, of him.
Is it Astronomy Live?
It's entirely possible. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the name of it is. My apologies, because I should keep track of those kinds of things, because I like to, you know, talk about them if I can.
Well, chat concerning about it.
Okay, we can look at that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's called Astronomy Live. Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. You'll have to check it out. But yeah, he's written his own telescope control.
Take a closer look at this question. Please, if you will, look deeply in my eyes. Yeah. Yes, I can see now. First of all,
I'm sorry.
The answer is no.
I love it. Who is that?
It went off by accident. Zoltar.
Oh, Zoltar. Everybody needs a Zoltar.
You're Zoltan.
Please look deeply into my eyes.
Yeah. I didn't intend for that to go off. That's not part of my sound effects for this.
How rude. Just how rude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's a little bit of info about it. Yeah, it sort of looks like he is doing what is commonly called lucky imaging. So that's when, you know, you take a bunch of images and then you know, you filter out all of them except, you know, the best ones.
Mhm.
And so once in a while, the atmosphere will steady up and look absolutely great. So okay, well, cool. So that's sort of what he's doing. It looks like. I'll have to study this a little bit more. I don't want to get into this too much. So okay, well, cool. Let's dive into this a little bit. First one is called International Space Station. So there we go. Kind of hard to read the annotations here, but not really all that important. It looks like there's a Progress spacecraft on the side here. Yeah, he's showing a few of the things here. But you can see the panels and the body of the thing. Manual tracking. So that's pretty crazy, but it can happen. It can work. Pretty awesome. Okay, so there's a little bit more. I'm not quite sure why it's blue here. Color flare. He's calling it a color flare. Oh, okay. I didn't know that those kinds of things happen. I don't know. Are we seeing the little arm here? They have a Canada arm up there. I don't know if that's it or not.
Now, is this like an active blog or something, or no?
That's a good question. I do not know. This, this is from 2011, so that's quite a while ago. But this is sort of a large site too. So okay, yeah, and here he's showing a sequence. See how it changes in size and rotates and everything. It's a challenge. Definitely is a challenge. Okay, it looks like in this one, supposedly a space shuttle was sort of attached to it. So that's pretty cool. I can't really see much there. I'm gonna have to believe him because I'm not really seeing what he is pointing out. Payload bay door, Atlantis, tail of Atlantis. Yeah. Sometimes these images are really tricky to see things well because it is hard to do this. All right, so there's a little bit more just showing the atmospheric effects. So yeah, that's pretty good.
The display name of the channel is Astronomy Live, but the URL says Messier Hunter.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, just like this one, right? Astronomy Daily Live and Cosmic Lettuce. So yeah. Yeah.
And there it is. If you look at the chat.
Cool. Yeah, well, being astronomers, we have to try to confuse everybody. So there you go.
Maybe he started out as a Messier hunter.
Yeah.
And moved to bigger, faster objects later.
Just like I started out as a little cosmic lettuce, and now I'm a bigger one. So.
Yep.
All right, well, cool. Here's
big head.
Very, very, yeah.
When you gonna start doing any videos, Otto?
Oh, I don't do that. I don't do videos. I'm lucky to view anything.
Yeah.
Have
you been doing my radio videos?
Have I been doing radio?
No, have you been viewing my radio videos?
Viewing your radio videos. A few of them, not as many as I should, but I've viewed a few more recent ones.
Yeah, and I should definitely mention that too. If you're into radio, shortwave, right?
They are good.
Is this shortwave mainly, Bobby?
It's mostly whenever when I want to like do my field reports of digital segments. Uh,
Cool.
but my last video I did the one about the world's last chance being signing on for the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very, very cool. Yeah, so if you haven't already, make sure to post a link to that in the chat to Bobby. So yeah, if anybody's interested in that kind of stuff, definitely check out Bobby's things. He's making some pretty good contacts and showing off some pretty cool stuff. It's really amazing, to be able to do that. It's not incredibly easy. There are some challenges there for sure. Anyway, so here's some more of the ISS. Just on and on and on. Here it goes. So he's done a lot of this, obviously. Showing the. Oh, okay. So this is some kind of a maybe a processed image of some sort. It's a little bit sharper. ISS through the years. That's a great shot. You can see the panels here and the radiators and the body of the station itself. That's a sweet image. That is nice. It is really great. And this is through a 10-inch scope. So that's why I say you don't need all this, the best, right? One can do some really amazing things, and you can actually watch things happen with the space station. It's very cool.
That picture on his site, his scope, that couldn't have been a Dobsonian, was it?
Let's
he was sort of hugging that big scope, because why I was thinking about is how would he get that to track?
Yeah, it didn't look like a Dobsonian. Nope, that's a German equatorial. Yep.
Okay, all right, yeah, there we go. I was just concentrating on I didn't see that it was on that mount.
Yeah, it's definitely a Newtonian focus, though, right?
Yeah.
But German equatorials or really any mount isn't going to help much when it comes to tracking these things. Doesn't really matter what the mount is.
How do you get it to track?
Well, probably like they all do, some kind of motor, stepper motor or something.
I reckon.
And you just have to give it the right rate, right? You got to give it the right rate, and you have to tell it where to start and where to stop, and that's it.
Yes.
That's it. It's not easy, but it's not really all that hard either. Like I said, we were doing this kind of stuff with the 90-inch telescope up on Cape Peak in the late 80s. And let me tell you, it is amazing to see that huge piece of equipment moving at 5 degrees a second. It is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's incredible. It's like, just get out of the way, right? So, all right. Anyway, that's a great shot. Oh, I don't know what this thing is up here. I don't know if that's a... okay, I guess it's some kind of a cargo ship closing in on the ISS. Wow, what a great...
what a shot.
What a beautiful shot. That is probably one of the best pictures of the space station I've ever seen. That is really nice. It's really nice. Okay. All right, some more color, I guess. some flares, as they call it. And, that's going to happen, depending on the solar angle and where the panels are and all that kind of stuff. When you observe the space station going overhead, make sure to watch the whole thing, especially if it's going into the shadow of the Earth, because at that time is a really, really good chance to get a glint, where the thing will just all of a sudden just insanely brighten, just really brighten, really, really fast and really, really, really bright. First time when I saw that, I thought something happened to it, because it was just like, wow. I mean, it got about as bright as the moon. It was really bright, really, really, really bright. Anyway, so here's some more shots of the space station he's taken over the years. August 2013. Oh, okay, he's going backwards. 2008. Okay. Wow. That's a complicated image there. Pretty amazing. Pretty awesome, too. All right, let's, I don't know if we're going to get through all these or not. Which one? Let's see, he's got some shots of the shuttle, astronauts, cargo spacecraft, debris, rocket stages, lost planetary spacecraft. That's kind of cool. I'm kind of interested in seeing the astronauts. What do you think? Can we do that
Check
one?
that. Yeah.
You're probably going to have to really use your imagination here, I would imagine. Might have to, stick your tongue out a certain way. Maybe to the left or to the right. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm not astronaut. Unfortunately, I'm looking at this image here, and I don't see an astronaut anywhere. I'm not. This obviously is a picture from the station itself, right? But I don't see an astronaut anywhere. Does anybody see an astronaut in this picture?
Not really.
I don't either.
I mean, I trust that it's there, but not because I see it.
Well, yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm not sure what the scale is here either. So I mean, this sort of looks like the Canada arm here. Maybe not. So
It's distorted because of the speed.
yeah, well, I totally understand that, but I would think that an image from the station itself during he was riding the robotic arm, so I guess he's on the end of the robotic arm here. I guess that's what this thing is. Okay. So I guess the claim is that this is the astronaut standing way out at the end of the robotic arm. That's quite a stretch, but let's keep going. Let's keep going here. Let's see. Well, so EVA-2 spacewalker on the P3 truss. So this is what it normally looks like, I guess. And this is what it looks like with the spacewalker in front of it, they say. So, and this is just a positive and a negative. So we can just look at these two things. So the claim is that this is one of the astronauts. Okay, all right. Well, I sort of thought that this would be a little bit of a stretch. So let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so this one, STS-119. Ooh, again, it's
Oh boy.
it. You know, look. I mean, we are trying, to capture, the picture of a little human being at 400 kilometers away. So
Give the
you know,
guy a break.
give the guy a break. Absolutely, right? I mean, this is not easy in the least.
And a little
So
human being 400 kilometers away moving very, very fast.
yeah, 17,000 miles an hour. So yeah, I think it's great. I I I think it's just
Oh, yeah.
absolutely fantastic. Yeah, could always be better, but keep doing it, man. That's great. So yeah, I'm not quite sure though, Bobby, if this guy is still doing this or not. I'm seeing some pretty old images here, so kind of hard to tell. Um, Well, let's look at the space shuttle. It's always it's always a great view, and everybody here, at least, sort of knows what the shuttle looks like. So you don't have to use quite the wild imagination as you normally would have
No.
to. So gorgeous, absolutely
Oh, yeah. It looks
fantastic.
like the space shuttle. I mean,
Yeah. And the bays are open. It looks like the bay doors are open here. There's a bit of a shadow on the wings. Groovy. Yeah, I'll have to look at this a little bit more carefully to see what he's doing there. But oh, there we go. Okay. So here's okay. Well, NASA logo. Ooh. Yeah, got to use your imagination a little bit on that one, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. Let's go back up a little bit again here. Okay, so here's the shuttle docked to the station, and oh yeah. Here we go. Let's you can definitely see it there. You see here. Here's the sort of the tail part. Here's the fuselage. See that okay? And it's docked, right? It's docked. Actually, exactly in the right place. I think the docking um, with the shuttle was way in the back of the bay, so that's exactly where it should be. So that is sweet. That is so sweet. And here's the shuttle. Look at that. Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh. What a great view. Incredible. All with a 10-inch telescope, Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. That's a little bit hard to see, but yeah, I guess you can sort of see that there. There's Discovery right there.
oh, look at that. Gee.
Not not too bad. Not too bad.
Oh,
It's very very distorted, but that's how it goes. The atmosphere does crazy things, and the processing, um, the software itself puts in a lot of weird things that aren't there either. But yeah, I have no complaints about that. That's pretty sweet. Okay, yeah, he's trying to point out things, and I think that's great. Yeah, here's the little arm here, the shuttle arm. Very cool. Nice. Nice. So if you're an astrophotographer and sort of getting bored with the same picture every single day, try a space station. It's an interesting challenge for sure. Oh yeah, the water dumps are really pretty cool to see. I've seen these two, as the shuttle would fly over. They'd occasionally do it's called a water dump. It's just that kind of a dump is just a waste dump, right? I mean, let's call it as it is.
So it isn't really water.
Well, much of it is, but let's call it exactly what it is. It's a waste dump. So you got to put it somewhere, and it actually looks very much like this. It's just this like a comet-like tail that is following the shuttle or the space station. And yeah, I think the space station does that too from time to time. I don't think they advertise it all that much. So,
and hence the question: how do you go to the bathroom in space?
Very,
No.
very, very, very carefully, and
it's rather nasty.
it's all done with vacuums. It's vacuums. That is the best way. It's the most logical way. So I guess we're looking at the external tank here. Well, let's see. Shuttle and the external tank distinguish themselves clearly from the airplane lights. The two in tandem flying objects were steady lights. Okay, so yeah, I guess this was right after a launch, and so the shuttle and the external tank were still sort of close to one another. So I guess you got a shot of that. That's
Did you notice sometime back in the chat, Astro Life pointed out that he practiced trying to, because it takes a special kind of technique to photograph these things from the ground. He actually practiced by shooting aircraft flybys.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, how clever is that? That really impressed me. I never would have thought of doing that. But if you want to practice, that would be a good thing to practice on.
Yeah, and if you can track an airplane, you can easily track a satellite, because satellites move a lot slower, than an aircraft does, for sure. All right, so here's just some tumbling satellites here. That happens all the time. Most satellites, when you look at them, you'll notice that they are varying in brightness, and that's mainly because they're tumbling. So here's a few more. Pretty cool. Just space junk out there, right? Just a bunch of junk rolling around. There's a little bit of processing there. It's called unsharp masking. Processing technique, pretty common. I don't know what this one is. I don't know. Cool. Just flying through the frame here. Cool. The oldest still tumbling rocket body. Ariel 2. Okay, so that is a rocket body that has been up there for quite a while, 1973.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be great for tomorrow's ADL to share some of Astro Live Channel's photos.
That would be absolutely great. That'd be absolutely great. Uh, Probably the easiest way to do that is just to get onto the panel. So just send me an email, cosmiclettuce@gmail.com, and I will hook you up. If you don't want to do that, you can send them to me, or if you have a website we can go to and look at them that way. And it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It can be the next day or next week. We're casual here, all right? But definitely, if you want to show all that off, I think that'd be absolutely fantastic. Yep, I'd love to see what you're doing. Let's see what else we have here. Spaceflight experiments, space telescopes. Oh, let's see here if there's anything incredibly interesting. Okay, so quite sure what the name of this is. USA 129.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hard to tell. Not quite sure what these things are. If these are panels and stuff. Oftentimes, when you get this kind of data, how the thing is rotated and what your point of view is, oftentimes makes the pictures, really, really distorted and sort of weird looking like this. So I'm sort of thinking that maybe that's a solar panel of some sort. Who knows? Yeah. Let's see what else they got here. USA 245. Okay. Thick part telescope tube with mirror. Okay, so this is some kind of a telescope, space telescope. Cool. Yeah, well, there is definitely something going on here, right? I mean, it's not just some kind of small round body. It's got some shape to it, for sure. He's saying, that's a telescope tube and the mirror is down here and all that. Yeah, it's entirely possible. I'm surprised he doesn't have any images of HST, the Hubble Space Telescope. Let's see. Don't see any indication of that anywhere. I wonder if he does have any, because the HST has been up there for a long time. I'm sure there's lots of images of that. Okay, so here's another little spacecraft with its panels, and you can see, that's like, well, it's a little fuzzy blob there. Kind of hard to tell much of anything. The solar sail nanosail D2. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I guess this is actually showing you the solar sail. We're going to be able to do this again really soon. They've got what's the name of it? It's a solar sail. Factor 1. No, that's not what it's called. It's that thing was just launched about a month ago. It's being operated by the Planetary Society. Light Sail 2. Light Sail 2 is what it's called. Yeah, it's. I think it's. I think I want to say that each edge is like 20 feet on a side. I don't know what size this is. This is a different one.
And I might want to go back. I might want to bookmark that site as well when it comes to something that you won't be able to track with traditional software. But if you know where's it at, that'd be great.
Yeah, here I'll post the link in the chat.
Well, Tom actually has a link on Discord that tracks down the light set too.
Oh, good. Yes, yes, yes. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. This is just a link to this page. So, um, uh, key shot, the key shot spy satellite. Okay, yeah, yeah. You know, there are lots and lots and lots of very, very, very large telescopes that are not used for anything astronomy at all. You know, they're used to look down. Because we got to make sure that we keep track of those bad guys over there. So please. Um, anyway, so yeah, yeah, you know, they're showing the sail here. Very cool. I like it. Not quite sure. This is the same thing. I'm not sure if we're seeing it moving. Oh, I think Atta is going to leave us. Thanks, Atta.
Yeah. Later,
See
Arthur.
you. See you next time. She's got to turn back into a pumpkin. And you know, from what I've heard, it's not really pretty. So she likes to exit and then sort of do the pumpkin thing. So I'm really glad that we don't have to watch that here because that has nothing to do with astronomy. That's more I don't know what you'd call that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, tomorrow's forecast for the rest of the week is supposed to be rainy and thundering.
Oh, well, you know, you got to appreciate that too. You know, without rain, we'd be in big trouble.
Yeah.
And it makes you appreciate all the nice days too. So
Yeah.
there we go. There we go. So yeah, this guy is doing some really amazing work, and you know, Bobby, I really can't tell if there's anything too up to date here at all. The interesting thing is that I don't see these images on his site anywhere. I've sort of looked, and I can't find these images. This is a recent image, right? July 2nd, just a few days ago, a week ago. But I haven't found that on this site yet. Now I haven't looked through the entire site, um, but yeah, he's doing some pretty amazing stuff. With just a 10-inch scope, it's great. Satellites in their last orbits. So yeah, I think this is just they're coming down, and so they're tumbling, and they're on their way down. So he's capturing them in their last hours before they re-enter the atmosphere. So pretty amazing. There's Rosat, good old Rosat. Yeah, so I'm like I said, I'm not seeing the X-37B anywhere here, but apparently he is still doing it. But a lot of these images are old, so I don't know if he has a different site. No, it's the same one. So cargo spacecraft. No, I think we looked at that, right? Yeah. There's some progress. Okay, so here's a SpaceX Dragon. So that's got to be pretty recent. 2014. So just a few years ago. ATV. Pretty good shot. Too bad. Looks like a little flare there. Huge flare, he says. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So here's that same thing coming up on the station here. That's a really great shot, man. The conditions that night were just spectacular. You really don't get that kind of resolution from the ground. That's pretty impressive. Lucky guy there.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, pretty neat. Pretty neat. I think it's it looks like it's about 3:06 UTC. So I think it's about time to get out of here. I like to keep these only about an hour or so. They usually go longer than that. Usually never shorter though, because when it comes to astronomy, I can go on and on and on and on and on. But I won't. So I think for now, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to look at the chat one more time. Make sure that there are good shenanigans going on over there. Excellent. Excellent. All right. I'm going to get out of here for now. So peace, cheers, and all that. Live long and prosper. I will be back tomorrow, 2 hours UTC, same time, same place. Different astronomy. We look at all kinds of things here. And I don't really make any kind of plans either. So we come in here, and it's sort of like, if you want to talk about anything, we'll do that. And I've always got lots of astronomical things to talk about and to look at.
And I think
and
if PNK is still on, take a look at PNK, because I think they're doing the Moon, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Oh yes, Saturn today is at opposition, so it is the closest to Earth it's going to be this year. And as the sun sets, Saturn rises. So it's going to be up all night long. So yeah, now is a really, really, really great time to go out and view Saturn, because it's closest that it's going to be. Now, we should actually look and see how far away that is. But I want to say, I'm just going to make a wild guess. It's probably somewhere around about 1 billion kilometers or so. It's maybe not quite that far at the moment. Maybe 800 million kilometers, something like that. So, it's as close as it's going to get this year, but it's still pretty far out there. But now's a good time to view it, because the rings are way up like this. You can see at least 5 or 6 of the moons easy. You're gonna have to use a telescope, but you don't need much. If you've got like a 70 millimeter or larger, you are good to go. You'll see the rings. You'll see a couple of the moons. You'll definitely be able to see like Titan. The only challenging thing right now in identifying the moons is that Saturn is right in the middle of the Milky Way. So there are just tons and tons and tons and tons of background stars. So you're going to have to figure out a way to differentiate the moons from background stars. And there are tools online, to figure that out. I'm sure there's an app too, right? So, okay, everybody, I'm really going to get out of here now. So take care. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up. Tell a friend. Spread the word. And I will be back here again tomorrow, 2 hours UTC. Okay, everybody. See you later. Bye.
Later.